Now number 5.
Why is Ellie the only one singing and not singing?
That way.
And there's nothing I can do. I really want to be with you.
What is that from?
It's Hootie and the Blowfish.
What is Hootie and the Blowfish?
You don't know
You don't
of
know
Hootie and his blowfish.
No, I don't.
Nothing I can do. I really want to be with you.
How do you not know about that?
You guys make me feel like such a child.
You
Like, I
are a
feel like
child.
You are.
You're a baby.
I feel like I just came out of the womb yesterday.
You're a baby.
I'm not baby.
You are baby. Though.
I'm like...
For your mother's sake, I
I'm the
hope
second
not.
oldest
Look,
here.
look. I can explain this to you really easily. On a scale of is Parker baby to is Parker man, everybody will vote Parker baby.
Whose is this?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Garagecast. Today, I'm your host, Aiden, and with me, I have 3 lovely people. One lovely than all of the others. More lovely. That is.
There can be only one.
Well, thanks, Aiden.
Not
Yeah.
You know, I was waiting for one of you
Being
to
one
talk.
of one of the lovely people in this garage, I very much appreciate your compliment. Next to me is the other person who's kind of lovely, and across from us is who's, by the way. I'm Ellie, a tattoo artist out of California.
Didn't even
Okay.
You don't get to talk in this
yourself.
podcast
Okay,
anymore.
so that's fine. That's fine. You know what? I'm dying of ligma, and you're making me.
No, stop! This is why you're not allowed to talk on the podcast.
I am the youth part of this podcast.
Anyway,
I speak for the Zoomers.
the loveliest person in this podcast. The loveliest.
Hello, I'm Darby.
Yep.
That's it. That's all you get.
You can follow Darby at DCB Crash.
Yeah.
This
I
is
got
the
it.
first time we plugged Darby.
Ooh.
Can we edit that out?
No.
Aiden, Darby edits the podcast.
Well, I
Right,
mean,
right.
we can, but Darby probably will edit herself out again.
That's
Yeah, she
true.
keeps doing that. She's
Yeah.
very humble. So sweet.
I will take the mic off the stand and throw it at you.
That's $300.
Oh no.
This mic's $300.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Jeebers
So,
Christ.
and in order to try and maintain chaos, which is usually what I do on this podcast, I take credit for an idea that is completely not my own. I believe it was Darby's idea, actually. That we have a theme for the podcast for every episode going forward. And the podcast theme for this week, I don't know what Darby said. I feel like it was inappropriate.
It was not. I
Okay.
said
It was wholesome.
CCC.
It was wholesome.
Okay. The theme for this episode of the podcast is...
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Can't do that. I was just doing a victory music. It's Star Wars.
Oh, well, why can't you...
Copyright law.
Yeah.
Why-
You can only do the first 2 notes.
You can do 10
Bum,
seconds.
bum. There we go.
That's it.
That's not 10 seconds. It's 2 seconds.
Your 2 seconds.
We're gonna look up copyright laws for just making stupid
We
noises
should
on the-
absolutely look up
We
copyright
really need to
laws.
look up copyright law.
Anyways,
dangerous
we're talking
waters.
about Star Wars today.
Yay!
Yay! We've all watched the new Star Wars movie.
Oh, are we starting with this?
I
I think we should.
We should.
Okay, so
Should we not start
Big
at the
spoiler
beginning?
warning.
big spoiler warning.
We're just spoilers out the gate.
This whole episode is probably gonna have some form of spoilers. in
Okay,
all of
this
it.
is the Star Wars episode. Spoilers, anything, all things Star Wars. If you haven't seen the new movie, don't listen to this podcast episode yet. Come back and listen to it once you've seen the new movie.
Yeah, there you
though.
go. There you go.
Like, follow,
If,
Hit
subscribe.
that subscribe button.
If we can.
Smash that like button.
Smash that button. Let's try to get to 10 likes, people.
Yeah.
Oh.
My soul.
The sadness.
Anyway,
Just all of our tribe members.
if you haven't seen the original movies yet, what are you doing? Hey, hey, you out there in the listening
there
audience.
Are people I know
I mean,
that haven't watched the Star Wars
Why
movies.
haven't you listened to the other Star Wars movies yet?
If you haven't seen the
listened
original
to
Star
the-
Wars
I
movies,
realized
you're
what
probably
I
not
did.
going to be
I
interested
realized
in
what I
this
did.
Like the Star
podcast
Wars
right
movies
now.
is audio
So-
podcast.
That's true.
You just hear lightsaber noises.
You remember the Anakin?
General Kenobi.
Oh my god, that's my favorite. I showed that to Darby last night because I wanted to. I wanted because I wanted to show her. You know the lizard
The
thing.
lizard thing that goes.
I'm sorry.
Well, the majority of this podcast episode is going to be us making funny Star Wars movies. McClunky.
McClunky.
So let's do this the way we did the Frozen movie review. Who in here actually liked Star Wars: Rise of the Skywalker?
I did.
Okay,
What?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but it's different
Okay,
as
wait.
enjoying it.
I
I'm
enjoyed
gonna-
it like Parker enjoys movies.
Okay, I was
Oh,
literally about to ask that
no.
question.
Yeah.
There we go.
I
Yeah,
did enjoy it
so-
though.
A good
Darby,
what?
what do you think about
Did
it?
anybody seriously enjoy the movie as a serious film work of art?
There's your answer.
There we go.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Darby, did you also enjoy it? How I enjoy the Emoji Movie?
Hey, Darby.
Oh, yeah.
Can you also please put crickets in that silence there later in the...
Yeah, thank you, Darby.
Yeah, no, it was a mental note. I hate you. Okay. No, it wasn't good.
Okay.
It wasn't good.
No.
it was
Wasn't good.
not good.
No, I enjoyed it. I laughed a lot,
Yeah.
including parts that you're not supposed to laugh at, as a whole movie theater will know, as I laughed very loud at somebody dying.
I think almost.
I know
Spoiler-
exactly what you're talking
Spoilers
about.
have been said. We don't have to talk about things in the abstract.
think all-
So when Ben
Oh my
dies,
god, he flopped. He literally, like, he was like, I'm gonna save... And just fucking got
That's
eviscerated.
gonna sound awful.
kicked the mic.
I did. You know what? It's
Idiot.
the exact sound Ben made when he
No.
flopped all the way, so you know what it's
That's
like.
sweet.
I like that they make out and then he's like. And so I just died.
it's so bad.
He ragdoll physics into the hole.
Dude, Ben died like he was in a Bethesda game.
I was gonna say he flew like a GTA 4 character. Just,
Oh my god, could someone edit him like he's being Fusro Dodd?
I was just gonna say, did Rango Fushroda? And Ben just.
Okay, so I will say my opinion before we look towards Ellie, because I know when I asked Ellie what did you think of it after telling her I hated the movie, she gave me this look of like, I'm gonna rant about this for 10 minutes if I give the opportunity. Rise of the Skywalker to me felt like they sat down to write this movie and realized they wrote themselves into a corner. They got a lot of backlash from Last Jedi. I didn't hate Last Jedi. I thought what they set up could have been interesting if done right, but the backlash was super heavy, so they tried to cater to some people while not catering to others, and it felt like it was all over the place. And the reveal that the whole time it was just Palpatine was the biggest letdown I've felt in a trilogy of movies in a long time.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It was like, oh guys, it was Palpatine.
Yeah,
You know, it was just like, oh, okay,
Great.
yeah.
sure. I mean, no, but yeah, I guess.
And also the fact that, this is kind of related, but the fact that they revealed the Emperor Palpatine message in Fortnite.
Did they?
Oh, did you not know that?
No, I haven't played Fortnite in a little while.
You know how at the beginning of Rise of the Skywalker, it's like Emperor Palpatine message heard across the galaxy. Yeah, they revealed that in Fortnite. You could play Fortnite and find audio cues that would be
Wow.
Emperor Palpatine's message.
So, as far as Rise of the Skywalker goes, my overall opinion of that movie is it felt like a D&D campaign run by a DM who had no idea what they were doing or where they were going. Was like, I'm gonna run a Star Wars campaign. Emperor Palpatine back from the dead. Rey, you now are training with Leia, is also a Jedi. She was a Jedi the whole time, actually, just so you know.
To be fair, it is said that Leia would eventually develop skills of like the Force.
Yeah, but where was Leia becoming a Jedi before this movie?
I think it was in.
Was it in? Because she just had Force powers, which made sense. Like I'm totally good with like, oh, Leia has Force powers, like we saw in The Last Jedi. But like, Luke's not the Last Jedi if Leia was a full-fledged Jedi.
Oh, you raise a
Luke,
good point.
Luke trained. There's
But-
the problem with these fucking movies, and the problem that's believed. The problem with this movie is that like I hate when people go watch a new movie and they go, oh, this movie is full of plot holes, because a plot hole isn't just stuff left out of the story that you are supposed to glean from details and informations about the story, or like not answering questions. Those are just open-ended questions, open-ended like story threads. That's not a plot hole. A plot hole is defined when you make a story beat that comes around and contradicts itself. It creates a circle. That is a plot hole.
To be fair, I feel like Luke was still the last Jedi because if you abandon being something, Leia was like, I'm not going to be a Jedi. You're no longer a Jedi. You know?
Because Luke was
That's-
like, I'm not going to be a Jedi anymore, and the whole movie was based around him being a fucking Jedi. He literally cut himself off from the Force. How much more quitting a Jedi can you be?
Was Luke the last Jedi?
Yeah.
Or is Rey the last Jedi?
I don't know, the movies are fucking stupid.
They weren't good at explaining that at all.
I mean, Rey was definitely the last Jedi. That was.
I think it was supposed to be like double, like both.
I
Rey
thought
and-
Luke was supposed to be the last Jedi, handing it down to Rey. Like, oh, he's the last Jedi. You have to go find him and train and learn from him. And then Luke stops being the last Jedi. Rey becomes the last Jedi. But either way, why did they need Luke Skywalker when Leia could do things the entire time?
That's the entire franchise.
the entire okay. Our good friend Trent brought up this point that I don't
Shout
know.
out to Trent,
Shout
by
out
the
to
way.
Trent. We love you.
You're great.
He came up with this point, or he found it and showed it to me. This whole trilogy would have been written so much better if Finn was the one who was to be the Jedi.
True
If
facts.
they wrote it to where Finn, a stormtrooper who broke the mind control of stormtrooper, became a Jedi, and the ultimate bad versus evil of Kylo Ren and a
Ex-Stormtrooper.
ex-stormtrooper as a Jedi, would have been a much more interesting story.
Then the previous two stories that we got copied and paper jammed.
Yes, I agree. I think Finn would have been a much more compelling leading character, and Rey would have been a much better side character. I hate saying that because I actually like Rey.
Same.
Like, I think Rey is really cool and a really positive influence for young girls, which you're not. So of course, the like Rey is the lead. Like, the thing is having a young girl be the main Jedi character in a Star Wars
Is
movie
great representation.
Is great representation. Having Finn be the main Jedi in a Star Wars movie is great representation. I would have been fine with either one of those. And either one of them sidelined to being a side character is kind of a bummer, but I think Finn would have been a better, like, story beat character, especially considering the movie opens with him. And, like, Rey, who's kind of the Luke Skywalker character, it would be interesting being not the main person that they're around. Like, if they had just played up that Rey was just as skilled as a character from being a scavenger, that would have been cool.
I would say that Rey is more like Anakin than Luke.
Ooh.
I try not to think about those movies.
But if you think about it, Luke
You're not entirely wrong.
Luke never really struggled with like the difference between the dark and the light side. Luke was like, the
True.
light is good. This is what I am. This is what I'm always going to be. Anakin was like, oh, the light's good, but also the Jedi are doing some weird things that aren't kind of cool.
It's also not technically true. Believe in my favorite movie, Empire Strikes Back, he does deal with, like, the possibility of joining the dark side.
Yeah, but not for that long.
Yeah, it's...
and not as much as Rey literally
It's artistic
shooting
and
force
nuanced
lightning out
because
of
he
her
kills
hands.
Darth Vader and the helmet cracks open and it's him. He's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Like,
Good parallels.
he's...
Yeah, but
he's
that's like...
just... I mean, that's literally what they were referencing when Rey went into that room.
Yes.
And then, like, Sith Rey was like, yo, what up? Like,
Also, Sith Rey's lightsaber is dumb as...
Sith Rey's lightsaber is dumb.
It's so ugly.
Well, I mean,
it's so clunky.
so is Kylo Ren's.
No, I like Kylo Ren's.
Okay, are we having this conversation? I like Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
You slide your hand up, and your hand is gone.
No.
They have.
Ellie, I'm gonna leave this to you.
It's got... Okay, Kylo Ren's lightsaber has ports that would stop your hand from sliding up. Also, there are hundreds of swords throughout medieval history that have handguards for the specific purpose. You know what is the most common injury for Jedis throughout the entire Star Wars franchise? You want to tell me? Hey, Darby, what is the most common injury for a Jedi throughout the entire Star Wars franchise?
Get him.
No,
Getting
you're
your
right.
fucking hand cut off.
I actually disagree. I think it's being shot in the back.
What?
Order 66?
Point to 8.
I think you're wrong.
On screen time. Actually, even there, you might got
Oh,
me
I'm
because
pretty
they
sure
did
you
cut
did.
to a lot of Jedi
Actually-
getting shot in the back.
Yeah.
Can I do a who's hot take?
Uh-huh.
That I think you guys might actually agree with. The original trilogy of movies is untouched. It's still a classic piece of cinema. No one's gonna argue that. I think the prequels are better written than this current trilogy.
I think the prequels get a lot of shit that they don't need.
I
know
also agree.
earlier in this podcast I literally said I don't like to think about those movies, but honestly they're not as bad as
Nope.
they seem. And like now compared to the new series is a mess. And the new series isn't a mess because of the characters or because of the setting or because like
writing.
it's well, I mean, I would say the problem with the prequels is the dialogue of the writing a lot of the time.
Oh God.
Like as much as it's not something that I know Aiden disagrees with me on this, I like the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan, like them flying around, and I like when it's dumb, but when I was younger I thought it was the coolest shit when
Yeah,
Obi-Wan
I
jumped over and he went, "Give up, Anakin, I have the high ground."
Ellie, that bit is good. I
Yeah.
completely agree with you. When I was young, I completely loved that fight scene.
Yeah.
However, looking back at it now, it is so long, and there's no reason for it. There's no story. For 5 minutes, there is no story. You don't feel the characters' emotions. They're just fighting.
It's a great
see-
set piece fight.
When I'm watching when I was first watching those movies, it was Anakin versus Obi-Wan. Like it was the whole movies were leading up to that fight, and you did care. Because if you know what happens at the end, that entire fight scene is pointless. Because when you watch it for the first time, you don't know where it's going. You don't know who's gonna win that fight. I mean, even if by like logic of like, oh, Obi-Wan wins this fight because Darth Vader is Darth Vader, like
I see what you're saying.
you never really know, because even like Darth Vader and Obi-Wan are both alive at the beginning of that movie.
You want to know who
Like,
won the original battle.
Anakin could have been like it could have been written that Anakin smacked him off a ledge, he fell, and Anakin's like, "I've won, let me go sit on my throne of my new empire." But it's like, when you're first watching it, that entire fight scene isn't that long because the tension is... It's like the idea of no fight scene in like the My Hero Academia show has any sort of weight because you know he lives.
Yeah.
Because it's all a flashback.
My only problem is that it's literally just nothing for 5 minutes, and then one thing happens.
But-
Like, there's no give and take.
As Parker was saying, it is a cool set piece fight. Like that, like
The
from
molten
like
lava and the...
from a concept art stage, it's not like it
It
feels
is-
like that
it's-
entire thing is just on lava, but it's not. Like they go from
Cool.
the platform.
I'll put
through
it like
the whole...
I'll put it like this. That fight would have been much better done in a video game rather than in a movie
But-
type setting.
If you look at like the way that George Lucas wrote that scene,
Yeah,
he literally goes dialogue, fight scene.
yeah.
They're like they smacks like sabers for 5 minutes. It's
Yeah,
like what
it's-
he has written down,
The thing is with that
and
fight,
that's dumb.
it's not designed like in what you're saying well.
It's
What
not
fight-
designed to tell any story.
No, you know what? Fight in those prequels tells a story very well.
Duel of Fates. Absolutely.
You know what? I mean, it's kind
Good
of a
fight scene.
weird thing for us on the podcast. I kind of want to pull up that scene and like watch it really
Both scenes?
fast.
Are you gonna watch it really fast?
And do we want to just do that really fast?
Here, we're gonna take a quick
All right,
pause, watch
yeah,
the scenes, and talk
hey,
about it.
Hey, listeners, we're gonna come right back. We're gonna go watch that fight scene.
It's over, Elethris. I have the high ground.
underestimate my power.
Don't try it.
Are we recording now? I'm gonna put it
All right. Any
I have
chance
failed
had,
you.
Any chance I had of defending that fight went right out the window.
Garage door.
For those that don't know, that's what the garage door sounds like. So from my point of view, I'll start.
Well, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Oh my god. Dialogue aside, which is not great, there were numerous points in the fight where I said that the set piece would have been great for a video game. My point still stands.
Absolutely.
Half of that fight, I couldn't understand what was going on.
Well, you know, if you're not with me, you're my enemy.
Like, when
Why did he not say you're against
I
me?
know. I didn't even remember that line, so I was waiting for you to say you were against me, and I got confused when you said my enemy.
You're my enemy. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. That's an absolute, Obi-Wan.
When the tower started falling into the lava, it, like, you couldn't tell where Obi-Wan and Anakin were, and then, like, the jumps just made no sense. We're recording.
Oh.
The jumps made no sense, especially when you take it to the last scene where Obi-Wan slices his legs off, where they've been making jumps like that the whole fight. Like,
I actually took note of that while I was watching it. They don't actually ever jump over the other one.
because it's stupid.
Right, but they don't ever actually, they'll jump to the other person, but throughout that whole fight, they never actually jump. Like, I always thought, like, that was always my argument for that fight, is that why did having the high ground matter at all? Because throughout that entire fight, they were jumping over each other. That's the first time where, in that fight, where one of them was on solid ground, like, above the other one, and he tries to jump over Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan, like, I do love Ewan McGregor's acting in that point, because when Anakin's like, you underestimate my power, he just looks like, don't make me do this.
Yeah, and then
Like-
after the fight scene's over, he's like, "You were my brother, Anakin." He's
Yeah,
like so sad.
It's just, I
love Ewan
don't
McGregor.
understand how Anakin has been training his
alright.
whole life to be a
Mulan.
Jedi who fights smart and, like, knows tactics.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he have known,
understood.
and you can correct me on this, wouldn't he have known not to jump over a dude?
Just because the dude who plays Anakin makes that entire dialogue in the fighting so comical, because, like, if you're not with me, you're my enemy. And you're like, you underestimate my power. He's not. Have you ever tried to reason with someone when they are, like, blindingly angry?
He's just an angsty
well-
boy.
No, that's not necessarily.
His emotions are controlling him, not his brain.
Okay,
Right.
so
That's supposed to be the whole reason Anakin is doing everything, is because he's scared and he's angry.
no, and I understand that. It just, I feel like it's the dumbest way to end a fight is jumping over a dude that just goes.
Yes, but, like, haven't the Jedi been doing that to other people the entire series? Like,
I see your
about,
point.
Think about, like, Yoda and Palpatine. They jumped over each other the entire time, but they were, like, equally matched. Obi-Wan and Anakin were equally matched the entire time until Obi-Wan got on the high ground, and he referenced it. Like, that's the whole, he called that out for the audience. He was like, look, I have the advantage right now. You can't beat me. You
Well,
jump up here, I'm going to kick you into the lava. You jump over me, I'm going to cut you in half.
Well, Obi-Wan the entire time is a much better tactician than Anakin is.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and he's trying to, like, so we do foam sword fighting, and
Stick tag.
one of the scariest stick tag, basically. One of the scariest things in that sport is when somebody is really heated and they're coming after you, because they're attacking as hard as they can and as recklessly as they can, and you're more like, it doesn't matter, like, being a tactician, you're like, how do I defend against just, like, rage? And that's what that fight is supposed to be. It's supposed to be Anakin pushed to the point where he's like, I'm gonna kill my dad because I'm so angry.
And I get that, but I feel like the end of that fight, where he slices his legs off and he falls like a GTA character and goes, "Mah!" does not help implement the emotion of that fight.
No. I completely agree that it's not done well.
At all.
And I you know what? I do stand by my point of when you watch it for the first time and you don't know where it's going. There are, like, the moments of tension are, like, when Anakin has a lightsaber to Obi-Wan's throat. It's like, yeah, you don't know, you know he doesn't cut his head off. But when you're in the moment and you're watching it for the first time, you think he might.
The thing with me is I get what you're saying from your first viewing. Fight scenes are the one scene in a movie that needs to be able to hold up and be able to be rewatched and still enjoy.
See, the thing is, but how many fight scenes are like that? Like, there's...
I have an example of a fight scene that's like that.
Sure.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Jack Sparrow versus
Will Turner?
Will Turner.
This is my pick for best fight scene in cinematic.
You argued that.
Cinematic history. I think I've made this point before.
have.
But Jack Sparrow versus Will Turner. I've watched that movie recently. For that fight scene alone, I binge watched all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies in 2 days because I just wanted to watch that fight. That fight's still the best fight scene in all of those movies.
Yeah.
Like the second movie fight, Dead Man Chest fight at the end.
Sure.
With the wheel suffers from the same thing that the Star Wars fight suffers from.
Yeah.
It's just a fight.
It's just a fight scene.
It doesn't go
There's
anywhere.
no character
It's
development.
too bloated. It's too... A fight scene can suffer if it's too set piecey.
Well, the thing is that a fight scene shouldn't ever just be a fight scene.
an example, the fight scene in Pirates of the Caribbean, you can learn almost anything you need to know about that story in that one fight scene.
Yeah, you can also, they load Chekhov's gun several times in that fight scene with Jack's pistol, where he goes, "This shot was not meant for you."
Yeah.
And when he slams his sword into the wall and Jack tries to pull it out, and he was like, "Once again, you are standing between me and my way out."
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful fight scene.
Yeah.
There's really good fight scenes that can either tell a really great story or just have such good choreography that it carries them.
While we're on good fight scenes, by the way, I do have another point, but continue. Sorry to interrupt you.
Because we can name off fight scenes that have great storylines. However, some fight scenes carry off of choreography alone. I was recently watching an old Jackie Chan film, Drunken Master.
Jackie Chan is really good at fight scenes. Really good at fight scenes.
There was a Drunken Master fight scene where it was him and his master versus like 40 to 60 goons that were rushing into like their tavern. And that fight scene's like 10 minutes long. But it has like choreography bits where it's like he gets set on fire and he uses that to fight against them, and he's jumping over dudes, and like the choreography sometimes can carry a fight scene more than like a story emotion as well.
Jackie Chan did something with fight scenes. I've seen interviews with Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan's like, I love Jackie Chan a lot. Jackie Chan's style of fighting, the best modern day equivalent that I can reference of Jackie Chan. Like, I mean, Jackie Chan's still awesome in and of himself.
Yeah,
but
he can still do it.
He started a trend of fighting, he used a trend of fighting where I think it's really well represented in the John Wick movies.
Ooh, interesting.
Because Jackie Chan, when he hits something, will oftentimes be like, "Ow, my hand," and he'll use what's around him to, like you said, like he got set on fire and then he was just like smacking people with it, like that style of like. Things have weight. Things have physics. It's not like, oh, this is a movie. Like, he picks up a ladder and shoves on somebody and then goes, ow.
Yeah, well, like I appreciate Jackie Chan because, like, you know when you're watching a fight scene in choreography and, like, the one person is completely winning over everything. Like, they can't, like, if a punch even lands on them, it's nothing. But in a Jackie Chan fight scene, he will get beat up. Like, he gets damaged throughout that fight scene.
There are two scenes that represent that perfectly, and I know you don't particularly like the scene, but the scene in Old Boy when he's going through the hallway and he's getting the ever-loving crap beaten out of him, and also the opening scene in the third John Wick film in the library.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
like
it's that weight.
John Wick has that Jackie Chan style of when he punches somebody, he goes, "Ow, my hand." When he gets beat up throughout those entire movies. Like, he's supposed to be, like, I love the aspect of he's supposed to be the boogeyman, and he's constantly getting beat up. However, I'm just going to reference something for especially some of our older listeners, and those that are cultured. One of the best fight scenes of all time history is Dread Pirate Roberts versus Inigo Montoya. Because hell yes it is.
Agreed.
Also good storytelling.
I've never seen. I believe that's Princess Bride. I think.
Never seen the Princess Bride.
Why are you surprised?
Literally, like, if we finish this podcast episode early, we're going inside and we're watching Princess Bride. And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding at all.
Yeah, no, that's
I know that
something
movie
you need
has
to
Andre
see.
the Giant in it, but I don't know anything beyond
Yes,
that.
it's a good movie.
My heart's breaking. You know what else made my heart break? Star Wars.
Good segue. Actual good segue. I'm proud of you. Speaking of which,
No, it wasn't. The point of a segue is that you don't realize there's a segue, Parker.
good segue.
Yeah, so it's just supposed to be like you're walking, but you're not.
Have you? Okay, literally.
No, okay, no. I had a point I wanted to bring up.
Good segue joke.
Thank you.
I had a point I wanted to bring up.
1 second.
Go ahead.
The point of a segue is, you know, when you're talking and walking with somebody in order to get to a point.
Yeah.
The point is, you're talking with them, and then you look over and you're like, "Oh, hey, we're here. I didn't even notice."
Okay.
That's what a segue is.
All right. I understand. Now, I would want to talk about the whole ending scene in Rise of the Skywalker.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's do this.
And how it absolutely fails to not only give a complete end to a trilogy, but never seems to know when to stop.
If I had my way, I would just throw out the last movie and try again.
I would throw out, I would throw out Last Jedi. I would throw out the whole trilogy and then start it from the perspective of Finn being the main character. Or even then, I would throw out this movie and then make Finn an actual supporting actor again.
The other thing is, okay, so here's my take on it. This is what I was thinking. The last movie suffers from the exact same stuff that the Game of Thrones season finale suffers from. In that there were some cool concepts in it that weren't set up at all.
They were just concepts.
And there was constant stuff that was thrown at you and then just, like, thrown away. The entire movie was like, okay, yeah, sure, I guess. Like, there wasn't any foreshadowing to anything. And foreshadowing is what makes the difference between a good story and, like, if you're trying to figure out a puzzle yourself, right? And you start, like, realizing you come to the answer, and then you get to the answer, and you're like, this is the answer. Hell yeah, I feel like I've accomplished something. That's what a story should do. If I go, hey Parker, here's an answer for you.
Oh, thanks.
It's like,
What do I do with this?
yeah, thanks. Like, was there a question?
What do I put this in something?
Right.
How do I cook it? I don't.
That's literally the problem that storytelling wise, the Rise of the Skywalker suffers from.
And actually, that's a good analogy for the opening of Rise of the Skywalker, where it's like, oh, it's Palpatine.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
What do we do with this information?
Oh, and also answer. Oh, by the way, Rey and Palpatine are related.
Hux is a spy.
Yeah.
That was one of the only parts that I watched and I went, yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When he was like, because like he was a spy, and I went, sure. Why the fuck not?
The thing
dude
is,
was a Hitler allegory. Is that the one like where it's a thinly veiled reference?
yeah. I guess.
I don't know the correct word for it, but it's
None of us are English majors.
yeah.
Nor do we try to be.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing is, the way the movie was doing its shots and setting up dialogue, at least to me, I could be wrong. It made it seem like the dude who like was in all of the movies, like that wasn't Hux, like the other big general was actually going to be like the infiltrator.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way it did its shots and was like sending people off to do things, it made it seem like that was going to be the insurgent. And I felt like when it was just Hux, it was that moment of, really?
I actually liked when Hux looked at them and they're like, "You're the spy," and he went, "I don't care if you win. I need Kylo Ren to lose."
And then it was completely pointless because he thought he could lie and then got shot.
No, I understand that.
Which is good.
Which is good. Like,
It's the only part of the movie that I like.
which is like, yeah, no, we found our spy. You survived? No. You're dead.
Die.
I was
That-
like, oh, yeah, well, that ruse
I
didn't
didn't
work.
particularly like it in a story bit. I liked it in a comedy bit because he would literally just went and just like shot
Oh,
him.
well, as Aiden said, if you wanna laugh, go
Go watch
movie.
this movie.
go watch Rise of the Skywalker. It's
I
a great
laughed
comedy.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, the story was so ridiculous that, like, you can't help but laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
But-
somebody put I Need a Hero over Ben running to save Ren.
So
And
good.
it's so good.
Okay, that is, you can find that easily on TikTok. You know the little, when he pulls the lightsaber out from behind his back and he does the little nod? That is the dumbest, like, choreographed thing I've ever seen. Was that him? Or what, like, who decided that was gonna go in the movie? Because he was just like, "Huh?"
Like, well, all the Knights of Ren. Also, can I just say a thing about the Knights of Ren really fast? That is the one of the things that bugs me about that movie the most is like, and these guys are here.
No setup, no way to let us know they're powerful and should be
No.
threatened with.
I mean,
just,
even
they're there.
even with them coming out of them, I'm like, okay, Kylo Ren reforges his mask, he resummons the Knights of Ren. Sure, got it. But it's just like several scenes throughout the movie, it's just like, and the Knights of Ren are here. And it's like, why though? They don't do anything.
Yeah, literally, they're just there.
They're just there.
They didn't harm anybody except they were
They
there.
spend screen time showing that they're there, and they stand there and look ominous. And the only time they ever fight in that movie is when they fight Ben, and they fight him for like half a second of screen time, and they don't do anything cool. There's no setup to it. There's no
Look.
character building of like, hey, you've betrayed us. They just instantly are on Palpatine's side. Why are Kylo
Look.
Ren's personally selected guard instantly against him when he decides to fight
I don't
Palpatine?
want to plug another Disney product because we're just ranting about Disney product. But if you take Thanos' guard and Kylo Ren's guard, there's two distinct story differences. Thanos' guard was set up to be big, bad, loyal, and a threat to be reckoned with. Kylo Ren's guard showed up, looked menacing, and then fought him.
Yeah. Like what? Where was the like? That's what I'm saying. Like they're not the Knights of the Sith, right? They're the Knights of Ren.
They're just some
his,
dudes.
They are his personal selected like bros who, when he decides to be a Jedi, are just like, yeah, no, I guess that means you're against us now. It's like, why were they against him? Why were they working for Palpatine all of a sudden?
Because bros before hoes, and he picked Rey.
I just don't.
Which is
That is a good
gross. If you like, Reylo? If you like Reylo, you're gross.
Yeah, no forced hetero romance. I don't need it.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Oh, Disney, I know why you did it, but the fact that they completely just shattered the Poe and Finn.
Finn and Poe!
And also both actors spoke out about it in interviews, being like, that was literally the relationship. They had a romantic thing, and Disney just said no. Like, that could have been such a great representative storyline, and instead we got Poe with a random bounty hunter chick that was never explained in any of the movies.
Poe with a random bounty hunter chick, and like forced love interest is forced for Finn.
Yeah.
I like, she might have been a good character or a good like actress. I don't give a fuck. Forced love interest is forced as hell.
Yeah.
Forced heteronormative love interest is fucking annoying. Sorry.
Also,
And
you're fine.
boring.
and boring. It's so boring.
It's not
We
interesting.
don't care.
No. We spent 2 movies building up this like great companionship between Finn and Poe, whether intentional or otherwise.
And Disney,
And,
you
like-
could have just let us keep thinking it.
And-
You could have just like, you didn't have to address it. You could have just let it slide under the radar if you worried about like pissing off people who are anti-LGBT.
Yep.
Like I don't support people who are anti-LGBT, but you could have let us have it without pissing them off.
I just mean, there didn't need to be a romance at all. As much as I wanted it, you did not have to make a romance.
You
It
could've
could have
left
been
it
a buddy
vague.
movie, and it would have been fine.
Yeah. And also, they just like they had a squirt of LGBT representation where just the 2 pilot chicks in the end just kissing, just like, hey, it's good to see you, my like.
Oh yeah, no, I missed that.
I didn't even see it.
Like
It
I
was
didn't
there.
see it at all.
I saw it.
Yeah, in the final scene when everyone's like, cheering like, we did it. You
Oh,
see
we can
2
have
pilots
background
kissing.
characters, but like Poe and Finn, that's not a thing.
I mean, the actual reason is that if they tried to do something that even like slightly made main characters seem homosexual, it would not get outlawed in like their biggest country.
Well, yeah, because in other countries, I'm guessing those 2 girls kissing is cut out of the movie.
Yeah, there's a specific country, I won't name it, but we know what it is. That is just like, if you put in anything that is LGBT or any of that, we're just not going to show the movie, and that's hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars that just Disney loses. Which sucks.
I mean, but to be fair though, like some video game companies do different video game versions. You know, like they could have just released a different edit of the movie.
True, but the reshoots would have been costly that they probably didn't want to deal with.
I mean, Disney's a $1 billion corporation. Sorry, Disney is a $1 billion corporation. If they wanted to, they would.
they don't want to though.
They don't.
Yeah.
You know where they do have LGBTQ representation? High School Musical, the musical, the series.
What?
High School Musical, the musical, the series.
It's out on Disney Plus. I watched all of it and I
the
loved
Netflix
it. It was
killer. Yes. Such great shows as The Mandalorian and
High School Musical, the movie, the show.
series.
It's
Yeah,
a
whatever.
series, it's
No,
a
but,
show.
I was
and
just going
I forgot
dirty.
one. And The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Still haven't watched it
Disney
because I
Plus is a
literally
waste of
couldn't
money.
care
You know what's
less.
funny? It's actually killing Netflix.
You're kidding me.
I'm not.
Really?
People are canceling their Netflix subscriptions.
Y'all eat up nostalgia
Well,
like.
to be fair, there are also like many other people who are starting their own streaming platforms. now.
Right, but all the streaming. Well, actually, let's not drift too far from the point here. It's not Disney Plus that's killing Netflix. It's all of the streaming services that exist are killing each other because, yo ho, a pirate is free. Do what you want because a pirate is free. I'm not advocating for piracy. I am saying that it's what's happening.
It is what's happening.
It's
And-
all the other streaming services are killing each other because everybody's just like, I'm not gonna pay $15 a month 12 times. I need to eat and buy gas.
And
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
Netflix, in a way, is killing itself because of its bloated studio system and the fact that it will never stand on one show and give it a life. They have numerous shows that they give life to that it's a season and it's dead because they didn't promo it enough.
I was excited because I heard that Studio Ghibli shows were coming out on Netflix, and I found out that they're not in the U.S. or Canada.
Yep.
What?
Studio Ghibli, My Neighbor Totoro.
I'm familiar with Studio Ghibli. It's not nope.
Not in America or Canada. That's why Netflix is. Well, I mean, Netflix, you're dying because you're dumb, and Disney Plus and everybody, you were all dumb. If you had banded together, you could have. You were supposed to bring balance to the Force, not destroy it. That fight scene was real bad, though.
That fight scene was
Yeah.
I took everything.
Is there a fight scene in Star Wars that isn't really bad?
Duel of Fates.
Duel of Fates?
Okay, see, I actually disagree on this one. Because I feel like that's the same as Anakin versus Obi-Wan, in that it goes on forever.
It doesn't go on that long.
Not as long as Anakin.
No, and there's a bit of storytelling as well. Because the way that they fight, all three people fight differently.
That's true. Also, I think that the dude who plays Darth Maul does a much better job at being like, I'm a dude who's fighting angry.
Now that I think about it, I can't think I like Duel of Fates, but you can argue Duel of Fates is maybe not great.
It's the best Star Wars fight scene.
But that's the thing. I can't think of a really good Star Wars fight scene.
It is the best Star Wars fight scene. Doesn't
mean it's good.
My specific part I love about that fight is when they're separated by the shield doors, and Darth Maul is pacing back and forth, and doesn't Qui-Gon just sit down?
He meditates.
Yeah.
It's so dope.
And
so dope.
Obi-Wan is impatiently standing, waiting to leap at the chance to help his master.
Yeah.
Storytelling. But yeah, as I think about it, I can't think of a really great Star Wars fight scene. I went through all the movies in my head, and there's not a single fight scene that stands out.
Here's a question. Did you ever watch Star Wars for the fight scenes?
I would
actually, yeah.
I was never
when I was
a Star Wars kid. I kind of came at this from a perspective of I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I do like the movies.
When I didn't appreciate storytelling as much as I do now, I would literally watch Star Wars movies just for the fight scenes. I would fast forward through every single one of the story bits just to see the fight scenes.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the whole point that I was making, right? The Anakin Obi-Wan fight there's an audience for it. There's an audience for every fight scene in Star Wars.
Just because there's an audience for it doesn't mean it's written or is a good thing.
No, but
it's written well.
And just because there's an audience for it doesn't mean it should exist.
The other thing about the Star Wars movies is and here's maybe something that I'm kind of enlightening myself as I'm thinking about this.
Welcome to the podcast.
No, I mean, was the
Why?
Rise of the Skywalker for us?
No.
Is this...
Absolutely not.
Am I looking at this from the perspective of just when people don't understand that Rey is a good character for young girl? Is Rise of the Skywalker good for kids?
The thing is, though,
did a bunch of adults go watch a kids movie and get really mad that it was made for kids?
If you think about good kids movies, though,
they're made for adults as well.
Exactly.
Not necessarily, but they have good storytelling.
Just because it's a kids movie doesn't mean it has to be a bad movie.
You know
Correct.
what's a good kids and adult movie? Toy Story.
You know, it's a good kids movie.
There's
Disney does a lot of good kids movies that have jokes for adults.
Stop. There's a lot of good storytelling in kids movies, in kids shows, in stuff like that. Star Wars was never meant to be anything but a CGI storytelling device. It was amazing for people like my dad when he went to see it in the movie theaters at a very young age, because it was the only thing like it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at it, it looked amazing because it was the first of its kind.
Yeah. You know what? Just as a good point here, we don't ever do this, but hey, people listening to this, what does or what did Star Wars mean to you? In the comments below.
Yeah, tell us. Message us on social medias, to comment on posts. We actually are curious because at least if I can speak about it, I never had a connection with Star Wars as a kid. I don't know if I just grew up in this vacuum where I didn't have other people being hey, this thing is cool or whatnot. But to me, Star Wars was always just a movie that I saw with my dad, and a series people enjoyed. So when I watch it, to me, it's kind of just like going to the theater to watch a new movie that comes out. There's no emotional connection there, if that makes sense.
I have always loved the Star Wars movies because it is something that I did with my family, and my dad really liked the Star Wars movies, and I love my dad. So I always had that personal connection with the Star Wars movies, and there are lightsabers up on the wall in the garage that my dad, when the FX lightsabers were a thing that you could start buying, bought the FX lightsabers, and they were the coolest thing
They're super dope.
ever. Yeah.
Do they work anymore?
No, they're all very old.
Yeah. We also
were
we
children
did
that
fight
my
with them.
dad let play with very expensive movie prop collectibles. So, like, shout out to my dad being the coolest person ever to just let children ruin his toys, because I'm sure I'm not a parent, but I'm sure the look on our faces running around playing with like lightsabers that actually lit up like lightsabers was pretty good.
Is that what you guys did as kids?
Oh, we were spoiled as hell, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, we have great parents. Because they've allowed us to do the things that we do and build this garage for people like you and everybody else to come be here. I wouldn't have anything without my parents.
Of course. I meant, is that what you guys did as kids? Is more like you guys like just like played and fought and all that stuff like
Yes. Yeah, we did like Imagine fights a lot.
Yeah, we did.
Not familiar.
But I mean, what? So I just said mine. Parker said his. What about you guys? What does Star Wars mean to you guys?
Do you want to go first?
I mean, sure. I'm probably the person who likes Star Wars least in my family. Not saying I don't like it, but I found other Disney things more interesting. I like singing.
Yeah.
So you need Star Wars the musical.
Being a,
Oh God.
you know what?
So, do you know how excited I just got? Like, absolutely not, but also, yes, please.
That sounds pretty cool. I would be down for that.
Look, if Shrek the musical was really good, maybe I should allow a Star Wars musical. to
Shrek
be
the
made.
musical is fantastic.
It's
Okay,
really
but like my brother delves deep into theories. Like, will for days on end go into rabbit holes of Star Wars material because he finds it so interesting. He's played every single game. My dad and him used to play Lego Star Wars, used to do all of the crazy things.
Battlefront.
And I've seen all of the new Star Wars movies in theater with either my parents and my family or with my new family, with you guys. I love you. And, like, I don't know. Seeing female characters has always been really cool, and seeing very strong female characters amongst all of the stupid men that are in the movies. Not to say that there are.
No, they're stupid men. In
I
those
mean,
movies.
yeah, no, but like,
Is there a smart man in those movies?
The
no.
Mandalorian.
Okay,
Oh?
I
Not a
haven't gotten
movie.
into it. True.
But also,
No, the new men, so
Obi-Wan?
much better. Obi-Wan, great.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
Mace Windu?
Aiden, please. His allegiance is to democracy, and the Republic.
But like,
God, that movie's
Luke Skywalker being an interesting, to say the least, character.
I was gonna go to Tashi.
And
What an amazing video.
not only
Didn't
the
it get
character.
deleted off YouTube?
No. Maybe.
Maybe.
Me talking about strong female women and being cut off. Cool.
Continue talking about it. Sorry, I was referencing literally a Star Wars musical.
I know. But like, not just being strong female characters, but also being Carrie Fisher, and like,
Shout out to Carrie Fisher, by the way, being like
R.I.P.
May she
very,
rest in
very
peace.
much like mistreated on the original set of Star Wars. Like
Yeah.
every like left and right. And also shout out to Carrie Fisher for being just like, Do What She Wants Back
No.
from the 70s because
The
she.
coolest.
Yeah. Rest in peace,
I
Carrie
mean,
Fisher.
I do not advocate doing drugs, but she did a lot of drugs.
Well.
She did a lot of good.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, like
so did everybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a
It's
different
kind
time.
of a thing. Yeah.
But,
I mean, if you're an actor now, you probably also do drugs.
coke is not as
Depending on who you
prevalent
are.
as it was in the 70s and 80s.
Who said coke? I said drugs.
Do
There
we
are
have
many
to
more
cut this?
drugs
No,
than
I don't
coke.
know. Do we have to cut this?
I don't know. We'll talk about it later.
Okay, cool.
But Carrie Fisher.
She's great.
She's
Uh,
great.
just like all of the characters, not all of them, all of the new characters, really cool to see a black man be a strong, positive character.
And it, like, having a stormtrooper be good. That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no. Finn as a character is fantastic. I'm grateful he exists. I think he got so underutilized in the
Absolutely.
Oh, no, all
Also,
every character in that entire series got shafted after the first movie.
So I've been watching a lot of Achievement Hunter lately. Shout out
Okay.
to them. They're really
Okay.
cool guys.
They'll
but
never notice us, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's true. They talked
luck.
about because I've been watching them play Lasso, which is a great series.
Right.
the Halo stuff. Yeah.
They recently talked about the new Star Wars movie, and you know how the two stormtroopers on like the ship who are just complete imbeciles, you know, like
Yeah.
the surfer dude stormtroopers.
Yeah.
They were like, that is like almost a direct reference to like Red versus Blue, or it's very similar. Just
Right.
having a group of soldiers who are just complete idiots, you know.
Well, okay.
And
doing what they're told.
I am a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
One of our most prevalent clients are people in military branches
Yeah.
who come here. A lot of people from the Navy, a lot of Seabees. Shout out to our armed forces. Thank you for your service and everything you do. So many of the people I tattoo are just bros. Like,
Yeah.
they're bros who are like doing a service for our country, and then they come get tattooed, and they just like yuck it up because they're bros, and they're just
Yeah.
like, when they're not on duty, they're just like cool
They're
dudes.
just bros.
They're just dudes.
They're just
And
dudes.
like,
Yeah.
so that making like the stormtroopers just like Red versus Blue, like, what's up with that anyway? I signed up to fight some aliens. Like,
Yeah.
I love that whole mentality.
They're
that
real people.
They're people.
Yeah.
They're not mindless soldiers.
the
They're
whole-
people.
The wholesome bro stereotype is great.
I have had a lot of characters in my D&D campaigns that are just like,
Wholesome bros.
like anytime people talk to town guards, they're always like, yeah, no, I mean, you're trying to get where? Yeah, I can help you with that. Like,
Yeah.
sure, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I'm like, this is my name, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not random guard number 3.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't.
that's
I also really enjoyed the fact that it was like, you are going to leave your post, and they're like, yeah, I'm down for that. Yeah, let's go. I don't want to
Okay.
work.
I forgot about that scene. Oh,
I
man.
like
It's a good
That's
scene.
honestly
It's
one of
not
my
bad.
favorite parts from the new movie is when it was Rey, right?
It's
Who-
Yeah.
really
Rey.
cute.
Who just used his Jedi mind trick? Like,
Yeah, it was just like, you are going to leave your post. And I'm
Did
like,
she
yeah,
use
we're gonna
that
leave
at
our
any
post.
other point in the movie?
Fun fact: D&D 5e, that spell is called suggestion.
Yes. Did Rey ever use Jedi like that Jedi mind trick in the trilogy beforehand, or is that
No,
just
she
a...
was
Can
trained
you?
by Leia to know Jedi powers.
Okay.
Can you
then that's
be a
fine.
Jedi? Well, also she did it in the last movie.
Can I talk
she do
about
it in the
another
last movie?
thing?
She did it in the last movie.
Oh, okay, where?
Can you be a Jedi in 5e? Can you make a custom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Monk Paladin. I think you can do it with a Monk Paladin. You might have to Monk Paladin Sorcerer or Wizard build. I'm sure somebody, like, I'm sure you could look it up, and somebody has told the exact multi-classing to do everything that a Jedi can do, down and to, like, call lightning.
Yeah.
Like,
I think if we gave James's character in the Monday campaign
Not a
a
Jedi,
lightsaber,
but-
he would probably just be a Jedi at that point.
Well,
I think Oko could be a Jedi. at
Yeah,
this point.
I mean,
this isn't Star Wars related, but while we are talking about different classes, I have spent the last 3 to 4 days of my life building a custom D&D class off of
You've been putting in work.
I've been putting in work based off of my own personal concept called the Clock Tower. So if anybody is interested out there in seeing that that D&D class, it all has to do with the idea of like this person or Clock Tower agents, whenever they fail a mission, they just start at the beginning and they try over and over and over again, and they're able to trial and error their way through situations. And I've built a D&D class off of the epic boon of fate from the Dungeon Master's Guide, and pretty much built a class around the ability to affect fate under the flavor text that you're just restarting over and over again without actually having to restart or backtrack anything in a given fight or situation. But yeah,
you've made a group chat on our Facebook Messenger that I've not had the chance to see through because I've just been doing who's stuff. But you and a couple of garage.
You were doing whose stuff?
Who's stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, whose stuff were you doing?
Who's stuff?
But whose stuff were you doing?
Who's stuff?
Right, whose stuff were you doing?
Whose stuff?
You can stop.
Who's on first?
This joke
I
is
did
100
start
years
the timer
old.
a little late, by the way. So
We're all good.
okay.
We'll just keep talking until we're done. You guys have been putting in work in that group chat, and I'm definitely excited as a player to see how a new Clock Tower agent exists in 5e, because I've only played it when we were doing the good old like dice off based system. And do we want to talk about the Sturrington rap?
Probably not, because a lot of our D&D conversations are very boring.
Yeah.
But
I will at least talk about this part because
Yeah.
this happens to what we
if it's
talked
important,
about
you
previously.
talk about it.
You finally did it.
I did actually do it. I didn't like make Parker cry a day later when he was listening to a recording. I made Parker cry in front of everybody at a D&D campaign.
Good.
When Eldon finally passed, I cried.
Cranberry died?
Cranberry died.
Cranberry died after winning and returning home to a victorious land, and got a statue built in his honor and in honor of all of the heroes that were his friends and family.
It was very heartwarming, and it definitely felt like a good character arc. And it was the first time I ever put myself into a character like fully and actually had it die, and it was definitely eye-opening. However,
Now it's time to kill Truck.
Also, if you don't think our conversations about our D&D campaigns and stuff are boring, because it's boring for us to listen back to it on any recordings because we know everything that happens and we've all been there and we can just be out in this garage when we play D&D. If you don't think it's boring, let us know in the comments below.
we appreciate it. However, the one thing I will say is to any DM or any person and player, when a serious moment happens, no matter if it's you or another player, and maybe the lights go out or there's a moment of silence,
Well, not everybody plays with lights, but yeah.
that's why I said if there's a moment of silence, don't ruin that moment for that person.
Yeah, don't be disruptive.
Don't be disruptive.
I feel like that's a really good note for anybody interested in playing D&D. Maybe you haven't played D&D, or maybe you've been playing D&D for a while. Don't be disruptive. Try and be respectful of other people's time on D&D. Like, if it's their moment, let it be their moment.
Because the one thing you have to remember is that for a lot of us that play D&D, it's our escape from normal daily life BS.
Right.
It's our, getaway. And we want to put ourselves into a character so that we can feel what that character is feeling. And when someone is disruptive, it takes you out of it. It just kills not only your whole mood, but the experience you're having.
Yeah, I played a really bad comic relief character. Well, I played my character really bad, like in a really bad comic relief way when we played D&D on Monday. Because I was telling jokes that were in character, but were also not needed.
You're talking about recently?
Yeah.
He was talking about last Monday. Last Monday, the main villain made some very big plays against the party. And I told Trent and Cal about what the main villain, Eganoth, was doing. And they were like,
Eggy boy.
he is making plays. Like, they were talking about it, and they were like, their perspective seemed to be that, like, this is a villain that is, like, not just like, oh, I'm the big bad, but, like, I'm not playing to be a threat, I'm playing to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. And that character sheet is awful.
Oh, well, that was him when he was all rotted and old and gross.
Oh, no, he's going to be healed now. He's gonna be
Yeah,
even
no,
worse.
he's gonna get a new body. Yeah.
It's gonna suck. But yeah, just don't be disruptive. Let people enjoy what they enjoy, especially in a D&D type setting. And yeah,
Yeah, definitely don't be the one person in the movie theater who laughs really hard at somebody's death.
and also don't be that one person in the movie theater that just cracks jokes really loudly in the movie theater. Because that happens in D&D a lot, and like there's a time as I've learned and as it's been told to me, there is a time and place for jokes, and they shouldn't be always. And if you're going to make a joke, try to do it within the realm of the story. Don't make a joke just for everybody else.
Speaking of that movie, and while we were at the topic of D&D, Aiden had mentioned something that I've been like kind of low-key thinking about since he mentioned it when we exited that theater, which is that I kind of want to run a Star Wars like D&D thing. I want to do two things that I don't have the time to do it, but I would love to do it. I would love to do, like, Aiden had suggestion when we, I mean, would you like to say what your suggestion was, or what you were like, you kind of want to do?
I mean, I just wanted to play a Star Wars campaign that wasn't Star Wars.
Right.
I just wanted to play a sci-fi fantasy campaign.
That's something that I don't think I've done with you at this point.
No. It was something that we did pretty well with the 7 stars, but it was a little bit more sci-fi and less fantasy.
I got a taste of that, and by taste I mean like a little drop.
Yeah. I would love to run either a 7 stars thing again with shout out to Ender, my boy.
Shout out Ender, we miss you, man.
Very fun. Hope you're doing well in Scotland. And I would love to run Rise of the Skywalker. I've mentioned that I feel like it was a D&D campaign that was very badly run and very badly written. I would love to pick characters who I think could play those characters, pick players who I think could play those characters the best, and literally run my own ending to the new Star Wars franchise.
You know our friend Adam, if he hears this, is gonna lose his mind, right?
Would he be down, you think?
Do you know how big of a Star Wars fan he is?
Yeah, but you know what? He could play Chewbacca too.
He would lose his mind over this.
No, I mean, like, he's one of the characters who I know would be able to play, like, Chewbacca to a great extent. Like, I think he could kill that character.
If you ever...
Like,
Darby is agreeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever have...
Like, I
time
don't
to
mean
do
that
this,
as an
do it.
insult to Adam. I mean it
No,
as a very
absolutely
high
not.
compliment.
Yeah, no, I just laughed because that's perfect.
Yeah.
And because it does sound funny due to the fact that he's one of the people that has
He does have a big
humongous
beard.
beard.
Beard
Yeah.
squad?
A quick shout out right now. If you want to hear a very small bit of Adam's voice, you can look at Who's album, Natural One.
Yeah.
Natural 20. But
Natural
yes, you're
20.
correct.
Sorry.
Shameless plug. But I would actually love to do that if you ever have time. But considering we do...
But, Parker, I said players who would be able to play those characters the best.
I assumed that you were going to have me record it, because I record everything.
Oh,
on this
yeah,
podcast.
no, you'll probably be there to record it. But you
no,
won't play
no,
it.
I won't.
Please,
No,
obviously.
no, not at all. Not at all. Can you make me have a side character that just gets shot?
Who would you play? Who would you
Yeah,
want
who
to
would
play?
you want to play
in
from the
in
new
a perfect
movies?
world?
God, who's
Because, here's a question.
who's the
hey,
toddler?
Hey, Aiden.
Yeah.
Oops. Hey, Aiden. Would Kylo Ren be an NPC or a player character?
Player
Both.
character.
He would, right?
Yeah.
The way he's set up, he's a player character.
Yeah. You know,
No.
You
I
wouldn't
would
be
make
Kylo Ren.
James.
If
That would not be me.
you'd make James Poe,
Yeah.
I think that would go very well.
I would make Bink Finn.
If I were to run this, right? I'm not going to. Like,
Yeah.
But if I were to run this, who would, like, would you start from the? Would you just do the third movie, or would you start like, drop the hat after the first movie?
I
Like,
would
after
say
the first
start,
movie, where do you go?
Start with Force Awakens and then just go from there.
Because that introduced characters in a pretty good way. Like, it was arguably not the worst beginning to a trilogy ever.
Yeah, I would start with the third movie.
You'd start with the third movie.
I think the first movie was good.
I'd
I
start
don't
with the
think the
second.
second movie was. I think that the second movie was okay.
Yeah.
Third
I
movie
think
was
you could
not good.
change things with the second and go from there. I would start with the second movie.
Okay.
Because I think the first allows for a decent story.
So
to be
just
told.
start where the first left off, basically.
Yes.
Would you have Lich Palpatine?
Oh my god.
Would I be required to?
No.
Is the point of it to end the campaign where the third movie ended?
No, I don't agree with that.
Like, would that be the challenge? Like, would the challenge be to write, like, you can't change the beginning point and you can't change the ending point, but everything in between you can change however you want. You just have to get to the same place and you have to make it feel way better.
That'd be a challenge for you.
Sounds like a good challenge. I think that.
I mean, I don't think it's that hard of a challenge.
I don't think it's that hard. However, I would say, you could take out, like, Poe and Finn not being together. Like, get rid of that.
Oh
in
no,
the
I
end.
mean not the whole
focus
third
on-
movie. Just the whole thing ends with Rey burying the other lightsaber and saying to a passerby, "I'm Rey Skywalker,"
Sure.
and that making sense, rather than
I
just
think you
being
can do
pulled
that.
out of the ether.
Easy.
That ending scene with how it's set up though. But I
Right.
think if given a different body,
I thought
like-
it was really cheesy.
I like the setup
yeah.
of it
That's
that
kind of the point.
Rey's a gray Jedi now. Gray Jedi are Jedi that are in between the light and the dark side. They use both, but they're pretty much chaotic, or they're like true neutral.
They're true neutral.
They're true neutral. That's what a
start-
yellow lightsaber means.
The closest
that
to
was never
a
explained
gray
in the movies.
Jedi that we've seen is Mace Windu.
Right.
I will go out and say that Attack of the Clones is easily the worst Star Wars movie. Just personally. I know that's kinda
I'm
out of
pretty
nowhere.
sure Rise of the Skywalker is the worst Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I think we need to let it simmer a little bit.
I think
No,
Mace
we don't
Windu
need
is
to
a
let
great,
nothing simmer.
is a great character.
the last time I watched Attack of the Clones, the only good part about that movie is General Kenobi. Everything else, the fight in the Coliseum, the CG, the storyline, the dialogue is really bad.
Mace Windu is a great character.
I don't remember, so I can't. I
Mace
won't speak on
Windu is a great character.
Okay, then I will-
Mace
I will take your
Windu
word
goes to stop Palpatine by being like, "I'm either going to arrest you right now, or I'm going to kill you." And he would have done it if Anakin wasn't a little bad boy.
that. Thank you for not making me work.
Bitch.
You're just making more work for Darby at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Darby.
I'm sorry, Darby.
Sorry, Darby.
I love you.
Yeah.
Remember to edit yourself out, by the way.
Wouldn't be
Have
that
to if I
difficult.
don't talk.
Oh.
Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx.
Wow.
I've now
better
saved this
podcast.
Wow, look at the quality just goes skyrocketing
Hey,
up.
Parker.
Damn it. That's bleeped.
Ooh.
Oh man. See, I told you. Podcast quality drastically dropping.
Yeah, viewership down.
Our ratings are flatlining.
Serotonin.
So remember how we were talking
No.
about copyright
I
earlier?
want it. We're talking about what?
You remember how we were talking about copyright earlier?
Yeah.
You know, it's a really cool platform that allows you to use like copyright for your own material.
What's that?
TikTok.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point.
Me and Darby have been watching TikTok a lot lately, and there was this
No.
one video that we watched where there was a guy driving along a road, and he had a
I feel so much better for some
he had a like a trailer behind him that was holding cattle, and it was open, and the cattle were all just falling out of
Oh
the
my
trailer.
God.
And Darby turned to me
Oh
like,
wait. Electors?
Thank you.
and Darby turned to me and was like, "What do you do when that happens? Like, do you call the police? Like, what? How?" And like the face she like looked at me with was just like, it was like pure fear. Like she didn't know what to do. And I turned to her. I turned to her and go, call animal control.
So wait, a car was moving on the highway.
No, just a normal road.
Okay,
Like
just
a- like a
just
street.
driving,
Yeah,
and the
like-
cows
Down
were
the
just
street.
falling out the back
Cows were
of
just
it.
falling out the back of
They're
it.
jumping.
And Darby, and Darby was just like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Call animal control." And she was like, "Oh."
Oh man.
So Darby doesn't know what
that
animal
must have been a
control is.
I
calculated
do.
Oh no.
Parker is laughing so hard at his own joke and he's trying to just keep it in. No one else in the garage is laughing, just Parker at
Yeah.
his own
Man,
joke.
the scowl you gave me was fucking fantastic.
Hey Ellie.
Yeah.
Now that was a good segue
No, it wasn't.
What? To what?
to my prompt.
That was the prompt.
Yeah, that was the prompt that we were talking about because
I couldn't say good segue because I was jinxed at the time.
Yeah.
Were you going to?
But I definitely knew what you were doing as soon as you brought up TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was just
Anyway,
counting the seconds that
I
happened.
think-
He put that on
How
just
much
to
time are we at?
embarrass me,
I have
but
no
I
idea.
don't think
It's the best pun I've ever made.
Don't think what, Derby?
nothing.
Darby don't think nothing.
I don't think
Darby don't think
nothing. It's, nothing.
What?
I just nothing.
What? You gotta say it now.
I don't know what it was just you brought it up to embarrass me, and I think that Parker
I think it's a really
found.
funny story.
I think in this garage, it was embarrassing the first time you said it,
Yeah.
because it hurt my feelings.
If you're not,
And then
Is Judy Hopps technically animal control?
No, she's a police officer.
But they're all animals.
They're all animals. So
Yeah,
they're-
but-
it's
but-
all
isn't it
animal
technically
control.
But Ellie,
animal control?
are you saying that normal police are animal control? Because
What?
humans are animals.
But do they have animal control in Zootopia?
I mean, do they have pets?
No.
Do they have like? Do they have like cattle
Why-
and like? I mean, they have cows.
Can
but
I
do
say
they
something that's
farm
gonna
animals?
get cut?
Why would
Sure.
you say it if it's gonna get cut?
Because it's just burning me on the inside.
Say it.
Okay.
Also, back on Star Wars.
Good segue.
Thank you.
Chest.
Great.
Hello there.
Oh, it's your limb die.
Oh God.
I ruined the podcast.
I
ruined it.
Aiden just said chest, and now we have to keep in that long ass dead silence. And I just said
No.
scream. Anyway.
Rey Mysterio?
Grey Jedi's.
Yes. Grey
Are-
Jedi's.
Though a lot of characters are great, are the closest thing that the Star Wars franchise does to complex thinking and thinking about humans complexly. Good and evil don't exist. They do.
I would say that good and evil exist, but nobody
However-
is all good or all evil.
Yes. So,
You could also, I don't believe this point, but you could also argue that good and evil are like a social construct.
Time's just a concept of human.
Perception.
absolutely. Okay. Well,
You ruined the podcast.
it's fine.
Um,
All of this is cut. I'm fairly certain that the
I-
last 20 minutes are not going in.
I completely agree with Darby's point that Grey Jedi's are a complex thinking question that Disney has,
Yeah.
or that Star Wars has as a precedent, and that's why it's a shame that they're not mentioned or brought up in the actual Star Wars canon at all.
Yeah.
I remember a theory when Last Jedi was announced that the storyline was going to be Luke trying to convince Rey to abolish the Jedi.
That would have been cool.
That would have been great.
There's so many things about that series that could have been cool that just aren't.
Also, the fact that the stories that actually did talk about it when Disney bought the rights, they said, "Oh, that's not canon," and just cut it.
Like, what if Luke had secluded himself because he was too powerful with the Force? Like, he wasn't cut off from the Force, he was just in a place where the Force can't leave, because he's just, like, anything that gets around him, the Force is just, it's overwhelming people and they're just dying. Like, what if that's why he's secluded?
Yike.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
There could have been some really great
mean,
moral quandaries brought up.
Just
but
in, like, general, it's the
Did.
fight between good and evil the whole time. And, like, what we were talking about with fight scenes, having a deity-like hero or a deity-like villain is never good. Because nobody is perfect on either side of the spectrum.
agreed.
Thinking of people and concepts complexly only makes for better storytelling.
Right. Nobody should be like, I'm doing evil because evil.
Yeah.
No, that's not a good story.
And
Except
the
for
best
Doofenshmirtz.
villains think that they're the hero.
From Phineas and Ferb.
The best liars think they're always telling the truth.
Different person. Phineas and Ferb was a great game.
Is Kylo Ren a good character?
Yes and no.
Why?
I think there are bits and pieces of Kylo Ren's character that could have been branched out into a well-made character, but it wasn't implemented correctly.
I just think he's a dude that's really angry with a cool lightsaber.
That's definitely the whole character.
I think he could have been a cool character.
That's where I stand.
What
Yeah,
would you
no,
have done
he could've
differently
been.
to make Kylo Ren better?
Show his difficulty between choosing the light or the good more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, they tried to do that, but they didn't do it very well.
Yeah.
Did they just skip a whole movie with those movies? Like, should the first movie
Well-
have just been about Kylo Ren?
What
I
what
literally-
Darby said to me at the end of the movie was, you can say it.
I was telling my brother whether or not he should see the movie, and I said it somehow felt very rushed and too slow paced at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Darby
accurate.
said to me at the end of the
Really
movie was they should have split the movie into 3 movies.
I was also saying that.
Yeah.
That the movie should have been the entire trilogy, and then it would have been okay.
It would have been so much better.
It definitely felt like the hunt for like the thing that is like you can't find in the galaxy to get to this like unknown place that has never been seen before was just like super rushed.
That was the entire point I was making when I was making the reference about the puzzle and just giving you answers without giving you the puzzle.
okay.
If it was 3 movies, that whole movie could have been set up, and they could have given you the questions at the beginning. They could have made you start trying to piece the answer together yourself, and then they would have confirmed your answer in the last movie,
And it would have been rewarding.
you would have been right, and it would have felt rewarding.
Yeah.
And also, if we're talking about Kylo Ren, I think the whole idea of his character being that he's the son of Han Solo and Leia, look at this, was just completely, like, not only underutilized, but almost thrown out for the past 2 movies. Like,
Right.
the final scene of him killing his father and being like, I am on this side, is so powerful, and I felt like they didn't build upon that.
I actually, the only part from that movie that I actually enjoyed was when Ben realized that Leia died to save him, even though that was dumb.
That was very
When he looked behind him and saw Han Solo, and Han Solo was like, I'm here, come home. And he was like, I know what I have to do, but I don't think I'm strong enough to do it. That's
done.
the whole character arc right there.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. I loved the idea that he did that, and that like Han Solo, like I from the beginning thought that Han Solo turned the lightsaber on. That Han Solo was the one who had Ben kill him because he knew something we didn't. And then they never answered that. They never brought it. But like if I was going to
Yeah.
write the story, Han Solo would have turned the lightsaber on, because if he tried to talk, like he knew he wasn't going to be able to win Ben over. He knew he wasn't going to be able to convince him.
Yeah.
And so if Ben had been the one to kill him, he would have been lost forever, is what I was under the assumption of. And so by turning the lightsaber on himself, he killed himself and didn't give Ben the choice to do it, and in so doing saved him.
Yeah.
I
think that's great.
I agree.
Sorry.
I think the final thing
Thank you.
the final thing I'll say on the Han Solo Ben arc is that it felt like a 5-paragraph essay where the topic paragraph is really well written, and the like top end of the conclusion is really well written, and the body is just not there.
Right.
Absolutely.
Kind of like this podcast. I hope everybody I hope everybody really enjoyed our ramblings about Star Wars for an hour? Just an hour? I was gonna say hour.
I
but it's
feel
just
like
an
it's
It's
almost.
been over
It's
an
been
hour.
longer. It's been
Yeah.
longer.
It's
I
been
actually
over an
feel
hour.
like this is some of the most enjoyable times I've had doing this podcast, which is kind of like
It was
ranting about
a
Star
pretty
Wars,
good
I
time.
guess.
I liked we might be doing another theme next week, and I already have told people to, comment and like and do whatever, because it helps us, but it also helps us know what people want to listen to. We're gonna do themes. If you can think of a theme for the
Let
next
us know.
episode, let us know.
Yeah, we're open to
Um,
anything.
We would love to hear more from our audience, if you exist. Who are you, other than the one person who our one fan?
Shout out Right Hand for commenting on almost all of our
Yeah,
Garagecast
awesome.
episodes. He's a great
Yeah,
guy. We
Right
love
Hand.
him. And he just got married, so shout out to him.
But
We gotta get
Congratulations.
yeah, congratulations, Right Hand, on your engagement. We love you, buddy. And I believe that is the end of our show, right?
I think that's a great way to wrap it.
Yeah, and as always, thank you, Miss Crystal.